मैं आप सबसे रिक्वेस्ट करना चाहूंगा, एक बार जोरदार तालियों के साथ वेलकम कीजिएगा। मिस्टर पृथ्वीराज चौधरी हमारे बीच हैं। पृथ्वी जी प्लीज हमारे बीच पधारिएगा। आप यूनिवर्सल म्यूजिक कंपनी के मार्केटिंग हेड हैं, लेकिन दिल से एक कहानीकार हैं, तो वो कहानीकार आज हमारे बीच। सर वेलकम।
थैंक यू सो मच।
कैसा लग रहा है आज अपने फैंस के बीच आके आपको?
फैंस तो मेरे साथ तब 2 है, बॉम्बे से आए हुए हैं। हेलो फैंस। बाकी जो है फैंस शायद
अब हो जाएंगे।
अब कोशिश तो वही रहेगी, हो जाए।
बिल्कुल बिल्कुल। तो ठीक है, जोरदार तालियों के साथ वेलकम, और दिल लगा के जी जान से सुनिएगा तेरी मेरी कहानी, स्लाइस ऑफ लाइफ जरा सा लेकर आए हैं पृथ्वीराज चौधरी। थैंक यू सो मच।
मैं कलकत्ता से हूँ। आई एम अ बंगाली, so my Hindi is not my natural language. So my story is going to be in English, not my mother tongue. Yes, sorry. That's correct, right? ये story जो है, this is a part of my life. I've gone through something in my life, और ये story उसी के ऊपर है. It's about a very important episode in my life, and I'm going to talk about that. It's called D for denial. This is a story about me, and my love story, and my marriage, and everything in between. It also occasionally features my nearly 70-year-old parents who live in an extremely residential area in South Kolkata. It's how they deal with my temper tantrums, and how they think that I've become an adult because I have credit cards now. I know what sourdough bread is, yes? And how they deal with all of that. But mostly, this story is about me. I fell in love in college. It was a whirlwind romance, and very soon I moved to the city of dream. I moved to Bombay with my then girlfriend, and it was the best thing possible because I got a job in the biggest entertainment network, in Star Network. I had won a scholarship, and I was very proud of myself. It was a different thing. The scholarship was a very, very economic stipend that I would get every month, which would not suffice for anything at all, right? And my then girlfriend had got a job in the last and the best way of Indian journalism. That one company that spoke on behalf of India, because they said India wants to know. India wants to know every time, and we don't know which India it was. I'm told, again, I can't take the name legally because I'll be sued for that, but you know what I'm talking about. The time is now, yes? So, there we were, both of us. We moved to the city with vada pav flavored dreams and, cinemascope colored eyes. How we were, fresh out of college, full of confidence, misplaced arrogance. We've arrived, we said. We moved to Mumbai. We looked at our combined monthly income and decided, as very, very progressive, young people, we shall live in together. Not because we wanted to and there was a lot of love, there was, but because it was more economical that way, right? It was more practical that way. And so therefore we moved into a nice 2 BHK, living together, and whenever our parents would come, one of us would conveniently go away into some convenient friend's house and stay there, okay? Leaving some telltale signs that somebody was there. Like this one time, I went away somewhere, my then girlfriend's mother had come down, and she found a very, very manly men's disposable razor in the bathroom. Now, this could have been catastrophic, but it turned out well because she thought that her daughter does not earn enough to earn a proper waxing session. So she gave her more money every month. So we all won, right? It was things like these that made my life very beautiful. Anyway, as life would go, we progressed ahead in my careers. We went higher up in our careers. From a 2 BHK, we moved to a 2.5 BHK into a very fancy society. It had a gym, it had a tennis court, it had a skating rink. People would stay there, celebrities would stay there, TV celebrities and film celebrities would stay there. I thought we have become a celebrity ourselves. And then after 10 years of long marriage, we went the route all celebrity managers go. We ended in a divorce. It's all right. Awkward. It's been 2 years since we have divorced. But this piece is not about how I became very angry and my self-loathing and my denial and my eventual acceptance of my divorce. That story is for the evening. It's more dark, more intimate. I would want some people drunk, to be like a nice connect. This story is how the very senior Choudharys, my parents, took the news of their middle-class son's divorce. Now, you must understand that the underlying principle for my parents when they brought me up in the 80s and 90s was denial, right? Whatever was uncomfortable, whatever we could not talk about, was conveniently brushed under the very, very modest cottage industry procured carpet in my living room. They would turn a blind eye towards everything. In fact, it became bordering on ridiculous. Like for the longest time, my mom, when I would see an ad for a sanitary napkin on television, she would just loudly proclaim, "Oh, look, an ad for tissue paper." And I would wonder sitting over there that why are all women only using tissue paper? And what is this water that keeps going over there? Where is this tissue paper coming from? It would border on that kind of ridiculous things. One more incident, and don't mind this. One time, and this is post-college, guys, my mother chanced upon a packet of condoms in my cupboard. Oh my God. This is terrible. I can see the look of your faces. You were judging me, which is fine. My mother judged me as well. I came back, and my mother was sitting over there. My father was there looking in the horizon into some distant Ganesha statue, probably praying to him for strength. And he said, "We have found," and get this is funnier in Bengali, but "we have found a Kama Sutra-like thing in your cupboard." I couldn't fathom why she would be confronting me with this. I was well above age and this was being responsible, I thought. What is this thing doing? What do you do with it? What do you do with it? I said, I thought, and I said the most obvious thing I could say to them. He said, "No, it's not mine, probably yours." That was it. They went into great expressions of disbelief and aghast. My father shook his head and they said, "No, this is not acceptable. How can you be found in the arms of some woman at an unmarriageable age? What if you're being responsible?" Denial. After this, okay? So in this kind of background, I had to break the news of my divorce. This was, of course, a far serious matter than stumbling upon some acts of immorality in youth. They had always suspected something was wrong in the last 1 year of my marriage. So I decided I'll fly down from Mumbai to Kolkata and break the news to them in person. It was Durga Puja time. I couldn't have chosen a more ironic time to go down and discuss this news with them. Next morning, early morning, I sat in their bedroom, my parents in front of me, and I said, "Ma, Baba, there's some good news and some bad news." Now you understand my mind was constantly in a churn. I thought first I'll rip the Band-Aid apart in one go, or should I build a nice context and then do a final reveal? I was preparing for a variety of reactions. My mother is prone to emotional outbursts. She would start crying if a favorite TV couple would break up. There is some good news and there's some bad news. I persisted. Blank look on their faces. About my marriage, we've tried for the last couple of years. It doesn't seem to be working out. So we have decided that we're going to go our separate ways. It's the best thing to do. My mother asked the most matter-of-fact question. Question number one. Why? Why? There are a number of factors. There are too many factors to get into right now, but we have spoken about it. It's just the best thing to do. My father then asked the next question, question number two. From when? From when? Yes, from when? I mean, kab se? When are you starting this divorce? Is it already started or what? What is happening? No, Baba, it doesn't work like that. We have filed for it, and in 6 months' time, it's probably going to get finalized. My mother kept looking at me, her eyes slowly clouding. But how can you be so sure? You are never sure of anything in life. You should take a second opinion. A second opinion? It's not a diagnosis of a doctor, Mama. You know what I mean? You know, maybe you should go down and we'll come down with you and we'll talk together. Or rather, we will talk to her. In fact, you should get her parents also involved. No, Ma, I do not want you to get involved in this. Frankly, I don't want this to happen. And also, I think her parents already know about this. Her parents know about this already? They know before us. How can they know before us? It seemed like I've let the home team down. Ma, you're not understanding, you're not listening to what I'm saying. We are saying we have spoken about this maturely, we have gone through this, and my bhabhi know about it, and I don't know about her relatives. I really ask. My father just suddenly remembered something and said, and what's the good news? You said there's bad news and good news. What is the good news? I said the good news is that we have decided that we're going to be friends. It's all very amicable. There's nothing untoward that's going to happen. My father didn't seem convinced. He said, okay. My mother looked away, and I could see her eyes clouding. My father very unsubtly held her hand tightly and nodded his head. They can't show emotion in front of me. I felt terribly guilty. I felt that I have let them down in this twilight of their lives. And then Baba, almost hearing my thoughts, said, you know what? It's okay. You've thought about this, right? You will be okay. That is the good news. You will be okay. We are next to you. That is the good news. It's all fine. If saying it aloud would come onto your family. And there it was, happening to their son. As I left their room, I could hear my mother tell my father, but what will he do about food? Who will take care of the food now? He's got such a strict diet. What will he do about food? My life's big changing decision was glossed over conveniently and narrowed down to one fundamental principle between mother and son. Food, nourishment, denial. I came back from that trip after 2 days and settled into my reality in Mumbai. The next couple of months, my parents would indirectly ask me questions, nothing directly. So there would be gems like, so today what have you eaten? Have you got food cooked in your home? Are you ordering food from outside, or you have food at your home only? As if suddenly my situation is that I won't have food because my stepmother is there or something in the house. My mother would ask me on weekends, today, what are your weekend plans? Are you meeting some friends? Are you meeting your common friends? Are you still staying in the house? And while my parents would skirt conversations about this in the next 2 months, I got to know one day that my cousin brother, whom I was very close to, when he visited my parents in Kolkata, they had broken down completely in front of him. They kept on saying that perhaps they were responsible for this and they could have intervened and not made this happen. And while my very poker-faced cousin brother, who was a financial advisor and an investment banker, said in his very poker-faced ways that you have nothing to do with this. This is between them. And it's a mature decision that they have taken. I knew that it was gutted from inside. They were completely gutted from inside. And there was this one time after that when this whole conversation came on to me. I was driving to my office in a very busy Mumbai traffic, usual day, and I got a call from my father. He said, Acha, I'm thinking you guys should think this again. Nothing gets solved if you do not communicate. And you should go back and communicate this now. The date of divorce was getting nearer. I said, Baba, this is already gone. We have already done this thing. This thing is happening right now. But my mom said, Papa, my nickname in Bengali is Papa. That's right. My mother has chosen to call her son Papa. Right? It's a Greek tragedy waiting to happen somewhere. He said, Papa, you have always looked so good together. You know each other from college. You can't let things go like this. But Ma, we are not letting things go. I told you, we'll be in touch with each other. We'll be friends and it's all good. Ma persisted. Listen, I have spoken to Parashuram Da. Now, Parashuram Da was the family astrologer who was a cross between a malnourished walrus and a hobbit, right? He would appear out of functions out of nowhere saying, my precious, looking at me and giving my, in my destiny. And he said, Iska shani kharab hai. His shani is bad. It's always been bad. We will do some upay and it will all be fine. My father persisted and said, yes, It'll all be fine. You can't let go things like that. You need to be in a bigger forum. Bigger forum? I snapped. I was driving, I snapped. What bigger forum, Baba? You think it's easy for me to do this? You think I don't have my other demons to fight with? Rather than you thinking it's a big fight in a bigger forum? And why is all this coming to me right now? We have already gone through this. It's shitty. This is happening. I can't help it. But it's happening. Silence on the other side. The constant blaring of horns in the road seemed like a background noise to the stark reality of what was happening to me. They hung up. Next day, my father called, normal as usual. Said, it's fine. It's going to be fine. You have thought this through. Today, it's okay. Do the divorce. Who knows, in the future, you guys might get back together again also, right? Right? I smiled at myself, and I nodded. I said, yes. Yes, it's possible. That day, they needed that hope. They wanted me to be part of their story, and I was. It's been 2 years since I've been formally divorced, and we haven't got back together. My parents have gingerly asked me if they can keep in touch with my ex-wife, wished her on her birthday or on some festivals. I have said absolutely, a testimony to how great the relationship was between my parents and my ex-wife. The thing with parents, ladies and gentlemen, is that as they get old, they strive to be relevant to our lives and to their lives. We often shut them out from our everyday problems because we tend to mistake our sense of adulthood and achievement as making them incapable of handling the nuances of a modern relationship. We assume they can't handle our everyday problems because we mistake the cutting of our umbilical cord with their lack of intellectual agency. But what I didn't realize is that the way they have lived their lives, the way they have navigated through their life, gives them an innate strength and capacity to deal with things in their own way, in their own time. It's not my way, but that's all right. Their armor of denial comes with threads of hope which they clutch onto, along with their battalion of gods and astrologers. I couldn't imagine what it must have been when I had told them that. I worried about their emotional well-being and their physical manifestations. But what I didn't realize is that their strength comes from a simple truth. They just want their son to be happy. That's all they want, and they will go to any lengths to make that happen, even if it means to accept some uncomfortable truths in their life. As I grow older, I've begun to realize and recognize the importance of they being relevant in my life, to be counted as serious stakeholders, to be seen in my life. My parents are due to visit me in Mumbai in the next couple of months. They are now harping on finding a new partner for me. And now they're saying, we don't want you to get married. You just live in together. You just find somebody and live in together. That's them being relevant, being ahead of time. I started off by saying that this story is about me. Well, it is. My parents are all about me. Thank you very much.
थैंक यू वेरी मच. बहुत खूबसूरत, बहुत खूब.
Yes, please. Thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you.
तालियों की गड़गड़ाहट चौधरी साहब बता रही है आपको कि कितना खूबसूरत लगा. बहुत बढ़िया. जी प्लीज.
It's my true story. It's happened to me, and it's all true. Yeah. আমার মা আমাকে যখন কন্ডোমের প্যাকেটটা পেয়েছিল বললো কি that one is not judged anymore. আমার মা খুব ভগবানকে খুব বিশ্বাস করে, কালী ঠাকুরকে খুব বিশ্বাস করে। তো যখন প্যাকেটটা পেলেন, আমাকে সামনে বসে বললেন, এটা কি তোমার? তো আই সেড দ্যাট কি এটা? বললো, কামাসূত্রা মতো একটা জিনিস পাওয়া গেছে তোমার ঘরের মধ্যে, তুমি কি করছো? এটা নিয়ে কিছু করছো? অ্যান্ড আই কুডন্ট আন্ডারস্ট্যান্ড। মা, এটা তো মানে আমার, মানে এটা কি তোমাদের? আই আস্কড দেম ব্যাক অ্যান্ড দ্যাট ওয়াজ ইট। সো দেভ, আর মা তখন বললো যে মাই মম, আই থিঙ্ক দে ওয়ার অন 45-50 দেন, দে সেড দ্যাট আমরা এসব জিনিস করি না আজকাল। That translates to roughly that we don't do such things anymore, okay? It's just a different story. Thank you so much.
या प्लीज कुछ कहना चाह रहे हैं?
No, thank you. I had one more, but that's somebody else's story, but I think we are running time, and we have a very, very interesting person coming up next. So thank you so much for your audience. Thank you so much for your time.
तो अब आप ये नहीं कहेंगे कि आपके 2 फैंस हैं, अब आप यहाँ पे आपके 200 फैंस हैं।
Hey.